Good evening. How's it going? Hey, better with bacon. Oh, I realized I'm on this mic now. I need to remember to actually speak into it. I used to use another mic that's over here. How's it going? Better with bacon and wickedly. So my plan for tonight is to go over the how to make combat better, or maybe make it great. At least that's what I wrote down on my 3x5 card. So I guess the video I'm probably going to make is similar to the one I made with like how to be a dungeon master or how to be a player. And in this case, it'll be how to make combat great. So I'll be going through all the comments and making notes. I'm still working on the video about morality. I've been thinking about that a lot too. Like I'm probably making it more heady than it is, but oh, Tuluit, if you haven't mentioned anything on those videos yet, the two I'm speaking of, let me actually pull up those real quick. Hang on. The last thought I just had was, I made a video over the weekend talking about our Dragonbane campaign, and basically I found a campaign section, a situation essentially. It was really interesting. It was a really interesting situation between like this giant and these bandits, and like the giant was kind of a liar and the bandits were kind of a liar, and it was like this really interesting morally gray situation that kind of perfectly encapsulated all the questions that I've had about like, okay, well, how do you do it? Like what do you do? And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, the players could kill this giant, the players could kill these bandits and solve the whole problem, just murder hoboing. And I was like, yeah, it wouldn't be very interesting, but it was a very interesting scenario. And I hadn't seen a lot of scenarios in the campaigns that I played. Like I've played some campaigns, but like not that many. And I definitely haven't played many hex crawl type. Let's see. Whoa, better violence. Better violence. Hold on. What did I say? I'm trying to figure out what I said about better violence. Anyways, so yeah, let me pull up the two videos that I plan on going through. Let's see. No, go to content. Okay, here we go. So I made two different videos asking questions about combat. One of them was literally phrased like how to make combat better without doing extra homework. And another video was more tangentially about combat. Here we go. Let's see. Let me pull up my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay. How to make combat. There we go, right here. So I put it out on November 2nd. So it's, I guess it's just like a week old, or no, I'm sorry, it's a month old. I still think it's November, and I've done that 3 times. Like I'm not prepared for it to be December. Anyways, okay, so this is the way. So okay, the how to make combat not homework, help me make a video. So if you want to go comment on that one, it's only like 1 minute and 40 seconds. You don't even have to watch it. Just answer the question, because I'm going to start going through it. And then the other one that I asked a question about combat, let me stretch this out a little further. How do I make this go wider? I want this middle section to, okay, here, I'll just zoom out for a second. See, zoom back out. All right, not playing wrong. Terrain or not terrain. There's a combat inference in the terrain or not terrain, but I'm not getting to that one yet. And yeah, a lot of these, even though I don't say like help me make a video, that's kind of my plan with some of them, even if I don't say that directly. But here we go. No, that was morality. Oh, here we go. Combat too big. That's the other one I'm going to be looking at. So I got a lot of responses. I guess there's like 30 or 40 comments. It says 44, but I think I responded to a few, so that inflates the number. But I was going to go through this one because a lot of people talked about how, not this one, this one. A lot of people talked about how to not make a combat too big, but still have scale. And there was some really good, interesting ideas. Like people were talking about running minions. And I was like, I totally forgot about minions, right? So, I'm going to get to these in just a moment. But first, I wanted to just talk about something I had a chance to do today. I got a hold of the developer of a game called Judgment Eternal Champions. And this is like, well, let me see if I can explain what it's like. It's like a tabletop war game board game. Okay, that's pretty close at least. This tabletop war game board game, but it's like League of Legends. So you're playing a game, and there's like, so here I still remember how to do this. So here's like a hero on the board. Here's a hero on the board, right? So these like little things are heroes. This is not the game. The game actually is a physical game, and I would plan on like getting it and playing it with my son. Anyways, I wanted to learn about the game because I found it when I was just like looking at like strategy games. I think I mentioned over the weekend I was trying to get my son and I back into another tabletop war game. Like I want to get him, you know, painting miniatures again, like that he cares about, that he wants to play with. And it's my fault. I messed up, and I kind of stopped playing Marvel Champions with him because I didn't really care for various reasons. I didn't really care for AMG and how they make their game, but more so I had the feeling like maybe I'm not into Marvel Crisis Protocol that much. If I said Marvel Champions, I meant Marvel Crisis Protocol. Maybe I'm not that into it, and maybe I want to start investing in a different war game, because each time you pick up one of these things, it's like, oh, there's $100 for a starter box, and then you start spending like $20 for this model, or you know, $20 for this army, whatever. Like, you start spending money, and so I kind of want to invest in one I really like, and I was kind of getting a sense that like I'm okay with it. Like, I'm fine with Marvel Crisis Protocol. It was a fun game, but their multiplayer, like their 2 versus 2, and like their sort of game modes, like the extra game modes, are so bad, and they're so poorly designed. Like, they made this Mojo Ball addition to the game, and it was terrible. So bad that there was like glitches still in it, right? You could get like infinite combos. And so, anyways, I would like to find a war game that could be a 2-player and a 4-player war game, and that's why I started leaning a little more into Kill Team. Anyways, but I was looking around and trying to figure out other war games that existed, and I stumbled across this Judgment Eternal Champions game. I sent an email to the developer, and I was like, hey, you know, could I get a copy of your game to look at and make a video about? And he was actually, hey, can I just show you how to play? And I was like, yeah, that's great. Like, I don't have to read the rule book. That was awesome. So I spent about an hour and a half. I'm probably way underestimating. I think we started around noon. Yeah, we started around noon and ended around 2:30. So we went out. He hung out with me for like 2.5 hours. This guy actually like worked on making the game. He was there from like the Kickstarter. The idea was really cool. I like the idea of a hex-based combat game. You can see, like, I can't really zoom in more than this, but I think you should be able to see it's like it's got hexes. So there's a way you can move around the board with hexes. It's turn activated, so it's like a war game, but it's also a League of Legends game. So if your characters die, they just spawn back over at the base. Anyways, it seemed pretty cool, and I was excited about it because it sounded like it was a game that had a meta. It's not too crunchy, it's not too hard to understand, but it still would have like a specific way of playing it. So as I was playing with the guy today, I had the thought like, okay, maybe this would be a game I could play with my son. Maybe I could get him interested enough in building and painting the models of it, because it actually comes with miniatures. So anyways, that's what I did for part of today. Learned how to play this thing. I thought it was a really cool idea to make a League of Legends type tactical war game. That was just, I mean, like when I actually started explaining the rules, I'm like, oh no, it's League of Legends, seriously. So like, if you like League of Legends, this game is basically League of Legends, except except it's physical, right? But otherwise, like the mechanics, there's even like a monster. Where's the monster at? Let me see. There's a monster on the board. I think we moved it off. But there's like monsters that spawn over here in like this area, and they chase you around the board. So like they're an extra distraction. I was like, oh, it's League of Legends. So it seemed really cool. But that was one game that I'm like, maybe this could be our new war game. Okay. At the same time, I'm so guilty about this too. I'm not ashamed about it, but I know I'm like, I don't like some of the stuff that Games Workshop is doing. I wasn't invested in Games Workshop the way that like people who've been playing for a long time. So like I wasn't like hurt by them doing their lore changes. Like I don't like it doesn't sting, right? Because Star Wars already did this to me, and I was like, Star Wars got me. Star Wars did it. Star Trek did it as well. But Warhammer wasn't like one of my babies or something, so that didn't bother me. But Games Workshop does seem to have a pretty, I don't know. I love their models, and I have a hard time. Like, I mean, this is. I don't know if you can see this. This is so cool. The detail to this thing is so well designed. And I have a lot of fun putting them together because it's like making models again. I know I'm like trying to totally excuse the practice, but anyways, I've gotten some more kill teams because I thought, well, if nothing else, I'm going to work on kill team models. Maybe get into this Judgment Eternal game if that seems like something I think Bishop would like. And then there's one other one that I'm excited about. I already got it on the Kickstarter of this one. it's basically another war game, but you're fighting angels against demons. And so I already ordered my copy, but it doesn't come until like December. I have no idea how to play this game. I don't know the basics. I mean, like I know the basics, like you move angels around a board here, and I've seen some live play footage from the game, so I have a sense that you move into like these sections of the board, and then you know you have to travel to different areas, but you're fighting demons, and it has miniatures. So I was like, cool. Like, you know, if my son likes it, it comes with these cardboard ones, but it also has miniatures. I'm like, okay, if my son likes it, he could paint the angels, and you know, like here we go. And he's so good at painting when he actually tries. Okay, the last one I think he painted was this whatever her name is, Scarlet Witch. Yeah, I mean, like it's hard to do justice with my lighting and my camera here, but he did a really good job with this. He does a good enough job that like it makes me feel ashamed for my using contrast paints and stuff. Anyway, so my hope was if I can find a war game that he loves the meta to, and he like gets in war game mode, you know, that'd be great. And then he'd start painting again because he'd want to paint an army or he'd paint his angels or whatever. My preference, unfortunately, is actually Kill Team, because that way we could actually find people at a local game store. And the few times that he went to, like we went to the local game store, I think 2 or 3 times, and one time he like beat a couple players, and the other time he like got his butt handed to him a few times. But he was engaged. He was totally into it, and I kind of feel bad that I'm not leaning more into Marvel Crisis Protocol just to keep him playing. But hopefully we'll fix it soon. So if you are into war games at all, I'd check out either of these 2 games. I'm interested in them myself. They lean a little bit more to board games. Just, you know, so you know, they lean a little more towards board games, but they're kind of like intermediate board game war game. They're close enough that I think they're gonna tick that box for us. All right, let me go to. All right, that's pretty much everything I want to say about the war game board game stuff. Let me see. Toes to Jesus, how's it going? Good evening. Let's see, so you commented all over the why my DMs quit. Okay, but forgot to add have a board game night. Okay. Not like Monopoly, but like Talisman, perhaps. So, I mean, that's a really good suggestion. That's a really good. So, if a DM is getting cooked on dungeon mastering, yes, I think, and we've done that a couple times. We've done it where like we go, hey, this week, for whatever reason, we're gonna play Zombicide. Maybe 2 people weren't gonna show up, so I was like, cool, it's a break. And I can tell, like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. On those weeks, I'm just like. You know what I mean? Like, oh, all I have to do is set up Star Wars Imperial Assault. Like, oh my goodness, that is so easy by comparison. Heck, I'll even play the Empire, right? You know, it has like all the mechanics on my end. That is so much easier in an evening, but it's not, it also feels a little like defeat. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I think about that and I go, yeah, I could just tell my players, tonight we're gonna play board games, right? Tonight we're gonna, hey, bring your own board games. Well, I'll learn some new ones, right? There's a part that feels like a waste, you know, because like my son loves the game a lot. My son loves it. He's struggling with the amount of time he wants to spend playing video games, and I mentioned that in the follow-up video. So there's a part of that you know, like, yeah, that cuts, you know, it does. But his friend Landon also loves the game, and my friend Marshall usually loves the game. It's the last few weeks that Marshall, like, I've noticed he's not engaged as much. Like, I don't know if it's his work stuff. He's got like a bad job, and like his job changed, and some of that's like bumming him out. But part of me is going like, I'm almost over the horizon, right? Like, okay, I just need to talk with my players, let them know how I'm feeling, which I haven't really. I talked with my wife and my son, and let them know how I was feeling, but haven't talked with Landon, Marshall, Alicia, or Robert, the rest of our family. And my thought is, yeah, I should probably do that. I should probably just like come forward and, you know, be like, hey, this is kind of how I've been feeling. I'm a little worried that my friend Marshall is going to be like, don't worry, I'll run the game, you know? And I'm like, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be fine with that too. It'd be a little harder because I know he doesn't really have any time to prepare and stuff. So I don't know. I might not be giving him enough of a chance. He did try and DM one week when we were playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and he said he didn't like it. He said it was too hard. It was too much work. He didn't know how to keep track of the stuff. And, you know, but maybe Shadow Dark or something would be easier. it's an option, but I'm interested in playing the Dragonbane campaign we're in. Like, I want to keep playing it. I want my players to figure out the thing and the mystery, you know, so I don't want someone else to pick it up and we change campaigns or something. I don't know. But I understand what you mean. Yes, a board game night is a perfectly viable option. And, you know, now that I have a few other board games coming in, you know, it works as a potential. Long story short, I saw the thing you wrote, or it was either you or someone else wrote that. I saw it and I was like, yeah. And it's one of those, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes, I'll do that, but there's a part of it that feels like defeat. Does that make sense? Like, does it, I mean, do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's my thought on it. All right, see, take a break. Tabletop family. Even an old grognard like me has down moments, and I'm 40 plus years into DM veteran. Wow, yeah, that's a long time. So, Toasted Jesus, give him a snack. Did he have a cookie? Okay, give him carrots. Give him some carrots. He loves carrots. When he's hungry, he can have carrots. Oh, and smoothie. Okay. I just had a question. Okay. So, Toasted Jesus, what is it for you that makes you? I was gonna like qualify it. That makes you get to that place that I was at on Saturday. Like whatever that you know. What do I even call that? It's like it's the why bother feeling. What is it when you're playing a tabletop RPG and you're the DM? What makes you get to that point where you're going, why am I bothering? You know, I mean, obviously I'm going to get people's responses on this video. I'm sure a lot. I mean, I already started reading through some of it, but Sunday I don't usually tend to get time to respond to comments as we're going to church, and I was playing Diablo with my son. So normally I would start going through on Mondays, but I totally forgot about this appointment with the guy to play Judgment Eternal Champions. It was an interesting story about this game too, because like we just chatted for a while. Like that's probably why it took so long. He was telling me about the game and like the production hell that the game went through, because like they were developing it during 2020 and they had all sorts of miniatures and stuff, but they were in China and like none of the China stuff could come over or something, like, and there was like a hiccup there. Anyways, it was a cool talk that got me distracted, and that's why I didn't do comments really today. I totally forgot the reason why I was saying that. Veteran D. Oh yeah. So what gets you to that place that I was at Saturday? What's the thing that pushes you over? Right. So you take heart. I got them. Okay, I already read that. Seraph says, I'm gonna be honest. I went back to try and identify it, but I'm sure the Star Trek, the Next Generation, and the TV behind is Allegiant, Season 3, Episode 18. Sorry for being distracted. No problem. Let's see. Let me see. This one is Allegiance. Well done. It is Season 3, Episode 18. What? Season 3, Episode 18. Did you have to look that up, or did you have that from memory? If you had that from memory, that's impressive. That's really impressive. Like, I can do, like, Drumhead. I know Drumhead's, is that Season 2, 4? But I do it like that, right? Like, I remember the episode and maybe even the name, but, like, I don't have them unlocked like that. That's awesome. Kurai Shinobi says, have you checked out the one-page rules? Oh, yeah, I have checked out one-page rules. Okay, my son didn't care for it. So we started playing one-page rules, and that was actually, I haven't even played Warhammer yet, right? Like, I haven't played Warhammer, and I haven't even got a game of Kill Team in, but I looked at the game and could tell it was pretty complex. And a tabletop wargame guy that I follow named Uncle Adam, his channel is called Tabletop Minions. He recommended one-page rules in one of his videos, and he was like recommending it like, hey, it's a lot easier than getting to know Warhammer. And since I know I struggle learning rules to games, which again is one of the reasons, like, hold on, I lost it. There it is. This was so helpful to me because, like, you know, I can look at a game rule book. None of those are rule books. I can look at a game rule book and just get lost for a while, like fixating on like how a mechanic works, and then like, I don't know, I'm just not very good at it. And the other thing is, especially with war games, they're not designed for a new player. Man, I was gonna try not to rant about this, but a lot of the war games are designed with the understanding that someone's going to teach you how to play it. I'm not kidding. Like, that is how they're designed. They're designed that someone at the local game store is going to teach you how to play the game. And the companies do not go into designing those things as though you were supposed to just learn how to play. Because if they did, they'd have a little section at the beginning where it's like, start the game with these 20 rules, okay? And then add these 50 rules when you understand that. But they don't do that. Instead, they walk you through 50 or 60 pages of stuff that is like dense textbook reading, where if you don't remember page 3, you don't understand page 40, and then you're flipping back and forth. Like, war games are the worst. So when Uncle Adam said, you know, hey, one-page rules is easier, I thought, okay, cool, we're gonna play one-page rules, and we tried it. Built like some guys, you know, got the rules out, we made up teams, and we started learning, and it was just as hard because there was like 50 keywords. There's like a keyword for regeneration, and then there's a keyword for how the robots regenerate, and then there's a keyword how like blast, you know, like how you can do damage to multiple units. And then we couldn't understand the blast rules, and then there was keywords to like different kinds of cover and stuff. So like it was, and then all the units had unique keywords too, and it's like we're just trying to play this simple version of Warhammer, and I was like, I don't. Why don't we just play Warhammer? But sorry, you asked about one-page rules. It's still in my mind because I can kind of kit bash anything, and I really like kit bashing. But at the same time, I do want my son to take the game into like the game store and get destroyed by, you know, someone, right? Like I want other players to beat him up because it's good for you, right? Let's see. Tozy Jesus says, "Got to jump back off, but for sure, Tabletop Family Talisman." Or some other version of role-playing board game can help to make to shake things up. Okay, I now see why he has not responded to the question. But if any of you guys have a thought on that, what that point is for you, because I wasn't asking that directly, but I am interested. Like, what's that point for you that gets you to be like, why bother? You know, like what's the gaming thing that happens in your group to get you to go, what am I doing this for? Wickedly says, it's hard to bear your weight in front of the people you're trying to entertain. It does feel like defeat, but they care about you as a person, not so much the entertainer. Interesting. And okay, that is part of the issue I have, is I do go into the game with the thought that I'm here to entertain people, like often. Like, even when I try not to, I've been much more casual about it in our Dragonbane session. Like, since we started this new campaign, I've been much more casual, at least in my demeanor. And some of that was because I laid into the NPCs a lot more. Like, I didn't used to run NPCs as hard and as personalities, but in this campaign in Dragonbane, the NPCs are kind of central to the story. Obviously, you're traveling off all over the place, but there's this town of outskirts, and there's about 5 to 10 NPCs. And each of them have like pretty distinct little personalities. So I made things they want, you know, like maybe 1 or 2 different things that they want as a goal. And it made it really easy for me to just kind of sink into it, where the preparation I have to do is like read the little campaign section they want to go to and build a map maybe, right? But then all the rest of the stuff with the NPCs, since I know what they want, and I know what their goals are in life, like, I don't have to remember any of their dialogue. I don't have to remember any of their lines. Like, I don't have to know where they need to be. Like, there was this module I did from D&D 5th edition where it was the Oracle of War. It was an Eberron campaign. And there's this section where, like, this nerd from the college is supposed to go talk to the players and give them information about the box that they found and make sure that they send them over to this other person, because that person actually has the answer. The person they're meeting doesn't have the answer. But they have to pass a riddle to get to, and I was just like, I don't know. You know, like, it was just so many things that had to happen in a certain sequence. It was really hard. It was stressful, so stressful. But this way of playing with like an NPC, like just 5 NPCs, and sometimes they keep little note cards in front of me with their name. But by this point, like, I remember Jory and Hardy and Badendor and Okola and Vognild and Quasimund. And then the Chubby Cheeks family. Like, I remember all 8 of them or whatever, right? And that's been easier for me to kind of play the game and play like in a relaxed way. The D&D 5th edition campaigns, oh god, no, I was so intense, like, just all the time, because I'm like, they're gonna mess it up. I'm not gonna get them there. So yes, that was all to answer the idea you said about being an entertainer. I do go into the game with the thought that I'm supposed to entertain, even when I am not really trying to go in to entertain. there's a part of me that goes, I'm hosting a game night, you know? If nothing else, I'm doing a little bit of the setup and the dishes or something, you know, because I'm the one who puts it all away. So I get what you mean, though, wickedly. TSL Frontman, another good night off idea is just a movie night. No responsibilities of running the game and bonding time. And you can pick something inspiring for the campaign. I recommend The Mummy. Interesting. Okay. I saw The Mummy again recently. It did not live up to my hype. I hadn't seen that movie since, I don't know, the 90s? No, it's probably later than that. I must have seen it in the early 2000s at some point, right? But I think I was living off nostalgia when I watched that movie in the early 2000s and still enjoyed it, because I got embarrassed with my wife. I said, we're going to rent, or I think we bought. I'm like, we're going to buy The Mummy on iTunes. It's probably like $10. And I was like, it's a good movie. I feel so stupid. I was like, it's a good movie. And I put it on, and there was a point, like, towards the middle of the movie where she just looked over at me, and she was like, are you serious? And it was like, I've never seen her do this before. She will get through an entire movie she doesn't enjoy. She will get through a whole movie she doesn't enjoy and not say a word. This was so bad. She looked over, and she's like, is Brendan Fraser a bad actor? And it was just like this look of kind of shame that like she felt for me. And I was like, okay, I was mistaken. This movie's not nearly as good as I remembered. But I get what you mean. A movie idea is good. I wouldn't pick The Mummy because I thought it was really good. I remembered it being good. You know, I don't know how, like, it was. And then I was watching, I was like, it doesn't stand up, right? My dad did that with movies when I was a kid. You know, he's like, you're going to love Tango and Cash. It's going to be so good. And then we get like, I don't know, 30 minutes in, he was like, I'm sorry. Seraph says, I used gaming in after-school programs with kids for almost 20 years. Been a gamer for 30 years. I'm a Star Trek geek, but I knew it was season 3, not the episode name. I had to look that up. Okay. So, let's see, hold on. Let me go back to the first part of that. After-school programs with kids for almost 20 years and gaming for 30 years. So when you do after-school programs with kids, where you're like running games with them, like, do you mean like you're running D&D or some kind of tabletop RPG? And like, how does that work? Like the kids just come to you're going to hang out in the library or something. You guys are going to play, you're going to roll some dice or something. I mean, that sounds really cool. Like that's awesome. I like trying to play games with kids. But I would actually be interested to hear your take if you still do that now. Here's the not hypothetical, the theory I have. I wonder if it's easy to do now. You know, because like I have you know, some friends. I also have, you know, kids adjacent to me. I get the sense that kids don't really like to play board games. Like it's just not in their thing with the video games being so interesting. Like. In some ways, I'm surprised I'm also interested in this, you know, but it's hard to teach kids how to play games. So I'm curious how you do it. Like, what do you do to get, especially if you're doing it currently? Like, if you are currently engaging with modern day kids who have access to Roblox and YouTube, and you're getting them to want to play a tabletop RPG or something, like, hit me up on Discord because I want to talk with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you have pearls of wisdom. And I need them because I'm struggling to get kids that are 13, 14, 15, you know, obviously 8 struggles, but like I go to my nephew's house and I'm like this last weekend, I went to for Thanksgiving, I went to my nephew's house and I brought my bag, right? I brought like miniatures to paint because I'm like, I went there and I'm like, he's going to love this. He's going to be so into it. We're going to play Mouse Ritter. He's going to love Mouse Ritter and I'm going to get him to paint a mouse. Like that was my goal. That did not happen at all. I got there and I was like, hey buddy, you want to play a game? He's like, no. It was ice. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, like it just shut me dead because I was like, I can't force it, right? I mean, like I definitely can't go, but it's really fun. You know, I mean, like he was like, no. And he was serious. And I was like, oh, okay. We're done with that then, right? But the thing is, we've had games before and he had fun. You know, like he knew that we played Mouse Ritter just like a few months ago, like in May. and he had fun. He went and like jumped on top of a centipede and stabbed it with poison or whatever. No, got poison from a centipede's mouth and stabbed it into a rat. He was being creative. He was being bonkers. He had fun, right? And I got there and he's just like, no. He wanted to watch YouTube and he was looking forward to something in Roblox. And that was it. That was like the whole, you know, and then it was like him just throwing a fit for like 3 hours. Because I told him to come join us for dinner and that did not go well.
I totally beat you.
What do you got, buddy?
I totally beat you, Dark Duck.
You come say hi? I'm reading chat. You can come say hi with me, buddy. Here. Oh.
I've got Dr. Bush.
Oh, here, let me switch this over. Hang on.
Daddy.
You got a bush root?
Look, I totally beat you, dude. I totally beat you.
Oh, is that from Darkwing Duck? Who says I totally beat you, dude? Is that Darkwing Duck?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, is that right? Are you Darkwing Duck?
No, I've got a Dr. Bush root.
Oh, okay. Is this, you gonna take this to go read books with mommy?
Yes.
Can you take that and go ahead to my bed with mommy? Oh, watch what you got. Did you make me hot chocolate?
I did.
You made me hot with graham crackers. Don't give me graham crackers.
Oh, they're so small.
Here. You can. Yeah, here. Okay.
I have a graham cracker.
They fell inside. No, it's just here. Hold on. I gotta eat this real quick.
No.
Thank you.
No.
You just have Star Trek on.
I do have Star Trek on. Oh, I just realized you guys can't see the Star Trek when I'm on the screen. All right, let me catch back up. See where we're at. Oh yeah.
Hello.
It's this camera.
Yeah, that wave.
Oh, okay, you did. Okay. I thought you were waving to that one. I thought you were waving up there.
Oh, I didn't even
Okay.
notice that camera.
Oh yeah, that's the one for Discord now. Let's see. That's fair. Kurai says that's fair. I do like if wish there was a start here for wargaming. Right. It's okay. I'm gonna finish reading your comment first before I actually start my commentary on your comment. I know that someone created Morkborg's solo war game that seems interesting called Forbidden Psalm. I've seen Forbidden Psalm, and I think the thing that's been interesting about Forbidden Psalm was like it links to Morkborg or something. Like you can basically play your heroes from Morkborg or something in Forbidden Psalm or something like that. There's some connectivity. I'm not sure what it is, but I just haven't looked at it yet. I've seen it. I don't think I'm opposed to it. Like Morkborg's a little edgy. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of angry pastor kid edgy. So there's a part of me that's like, whatever. But I'm not like afraid of the book. It seems fine. I have seen some of those simple war games, and those like okay. Hold on, I'm trying to think of some simple war games. It's called Song of Blades and Heroes. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of this game. It's a pretty simple war game. You have two different sides, and you can try and choose to take multiple actions, but for each action you want to take, you have to make a gamble that could turn your turn into your opponent's turn. It's a very interesting mechanic for a game. Seems pretty solid. I also have Frostgrave, and then I'm thinking about getting Stargrave. It's not that like I would probably play Frostgrave if I just wanted a pretty simple rules light war game, but I kind of want one that's hyper competitive. You know, like that you could play it at a tabletop store. And I think that's the real thing. Like if you can get your kid interested in playing a war game at a tabletop game store, they will paint miniatures. Like I'm sure of it. I went to the tabletop war game store, and there was I think the kid was like 9 or 11, and he had his own Star Wars Legion army. I was like, that's awesome, right? That's a cool kid, right? That kid's so cool. He's like 11 years old. He knew what every one of the units did. He might have been 12. Anyways, he was young. He was younger than my son, and I saw him, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. He's got his own army. He was playing against his younger brother, or I think it was his younger brother. His younger brother didn't know, like it was his dad's team. So, but the two kids were playing each other, and it was cool. And there was other adults playing there too. And I thought those kids were totally rad, and I want my kid to be like those kids instead of being addicted. I just spit all over the camera. Sorry. Instead of being addicted to video games, I'd much rather be that he's like begging me for money for Warhammer miniatures. Man, I missed that so much. I really liked when we were going and spending money for Marvel Champions figures, and like my son would get excited about one. He was looking them up online. So I either just need to go all the way back into Marvel Crisis Protocol and just, get over my grievances, or I need to find something new that's still got a meta to it. But let me see. Okay, my comment is now in on not homework video. Okay, thank you, Tolowit, appreciate it. My threshold was when my players would constantly belittle the what does that say? BBEG, okay. What is, big bad evil guy. Oh, okay, yeah. Wisecracking during their monologues. Oh, okay, trying to provoke NPCs when it was uncalled for. It was tough to not take it personally. Wow. Okay, I haven't had that. Does that happen a lot? Do you guys have that happen a lot? That sucks. Like, okay, I can understand if it was like once in a while they would make fun of the big bad evil guy during a thing, but like, okay, not during a monologue. I don't know. I can understand if they just said, look, we attack during the monologue. Maybe I'd be okay with that. But if the monologue was like story focused, where it was like you were in the middle of revealing, I don't know, your relationship to one of the players or something. Like, yeah, they interrupt that. That sucks. That really sucks. I would take that personally as well. Especially like trying to provoke the NPCs. You mean like trying to provoke the NPCs, like get the NPCs to like fight them or something? Like just a townsfolk? Yeah, that also stinks. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not nice. I would be very frustrated about that too. Like the thing that I'm bothered by right now is basically just player disengagement. Like no one's really doing anything, wrong. Like no one's doing that, right? I'm just feeling the player disengagement aspect where it's like people show up and, like my friend in Thailand, a few weeks ago, he would be sitting down in the chair or staying in view of the camera to let me know he was still in the room, right? And he'd do that pretty consistently. And since he lives in like a place in Thailand, he's got a pretty small like apartment, whatever, so I can see from his computer all the way to his front door, like way over there. And sometimes he'll go to the kitchen because he's making himself food, but like lately he's been going out of frame, like he's been going to his bedroom or something, like he's sitting down on the couch and he's playing a video game or just, I don't know, but it's like I look over at the screen and he's not there and I'm like, are you there? Like, did you hear the thing the player did you hear the thing NPC just asked you? And so and then also my son's uncle has been kind of disengaged. I think some of it's that he's on a different time zone and he's not around. Normally he's here. So that with a few things, and my son also playing more video games than he used to, just started to, but I didn't have any players that were just destroying the game, just disengaging, which I don't think that seems proactively rude. The thing you mentioned where they're mocking your NPCs and the big bad evil guy, that seems like that seems intentional. I'm sorry about that. Wickedly says lack of commitment. I wrote that in the good player part. If you can't commit, just let me know. I'm happier knowing you're both feet in than one toe in. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And that's I don't know if I would say I've had non-commitment. I get people who are committed, but when they show up, they're just like, I don't know, it's just been low energy or something. So I understand that. RA says, I ended up talking about it with the group. We ended up switching off DMs for a bit, and they've improved in manners as we've grown and gotten used to what we're looking for in gaming time. Okay, that makes sense. Right, I'm sure that was a good educational experience for them, like you talking with them about it. I think that's what I need to do with my players. Wickedly says, the one after that is inappropriate or juvenile behavior for the sake of the behavior. I poo in the corner. Oh my goodness! Before I leave the dungeon, that stuff makes me want to quit. Yeah, and I've had that, especially playing with younger. Okay, I had that playing with younger kids. My son had a friend over, and he was playing with my son, and I think it was Landon, who's part of our regular group. And this kid was just like in the middle of an NPC talking. He's like, I curb stomp him. Like. Okay, I'm like, okay, I was just happy to have gotten the kid to be playing the game. Like, the fact that he said he curb stomps the dwarf in the middle of his discussion, I was like, okay, sure, you curb, like you do, you hit him and you curb stomp him. And it became a big joke that every time we got this kid playing, he was just going to curb stomp my NPCs. So if it wasn't with a kid, oh my goodness, yeah, that'd be annoying. Kid, that's kind of okay. Okay, Bleaker, there's no way. Okay, all right. it's your wife's favorite movie? Okay, are you exaggerating and saying it's like one of her favorite movies? Are you? There's no way it's her favorite movie. The Mummy is not good enough to be anyone's favorite movie. You take that back right now. She just watched it Saturday night. I can't believe that. I can believe she watched it Saturday night, but favorite movie must be hyperbole. There's no way. The Mummy is free on YouTube right now. Satori, what's going on? I think what you need to help kids learn the system is to hype up stuff that you did during the game and be passionate about it. So you've got to play it. Bring passion, they'll bring themselves. That's a really good point, Wickedly. That is pretty much the thing I've been trying to figure out, like, is what you just articulated. I had a sense of what it looks like, but I don't think I could have put it into words like that. Right, you want to hype stuff up. And I started doing that with my players a little bit in our last few sessions, and I noticed my son and his friend getting pretty jazzed for things. And that's been fun. I think my wife does too, actually. Yeah, I might have left her out in some of the engagement stuff. She just gets tired, and I need to try and, it's my fault. I need to try and make sure I give her a nap before game night, and then she's fine. Let's see. It's not just that. See, it's not just that age. My players actually were okay. Hold on. It's not just that age. Okay, so your players were all in Shadow Dark and all video gamers. So Satori, do you mean that? Okay, so Satori, I saw a comment on a video recently from a person named Satori, but I couldn't tell if it was the same like Satori. Okay, but I got the sense that both of your gaming groups fizzled out, and if I didn't comment on that video already, you're reminding me that I want to go back and actually like ask you questions about that. But I got the sense if it's you, then that means both of the game groups that you had ongoing have fizzled out. And I say that because I was trying to figure out what you meant by your comment here that said it's not just that the age of the players. And okay, so are you saying that your players and your game, if it did fizzle out, the reason that it fizzled out was because of video games? Let me know what you think, or if you can clarify it, I appreciate it. Let me see, where am I at over here? All sorts of games. Kids join the club, whatever program. Okay, this is related to what kind of games you played. Okay, kids join the club, whatever program I worked at, once or twice a week, would meet up for the club in the classroom or library. We definitely talk on Discord sometime. Okay. We can definitely talk on Discord. Okay. If you, let's see. Oh, you recently joined the server. Thank you. Then message me. Like, just send me a direct message so that I know you on Discord, because I know that not everyone's names on Discord and YouTube are the same. So yeah, message me so I know, and I'm just gonna press you for it. Yeah, if you're talking about like modern day and getting kids to play games, I'd be interested to hear some of your experience doing this, because it sounds like you have a good way of engaging kids in game rules, and that's like a magic trick. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I get the sense that I'm good at it and I'm failing like all the time. So, but I'm also watching other people struggle to do it with their own kids. So I do think it's something that's hard to do with the video games and stuff. Let's see. Swords and Stones, how's it going? Bleeker says kids will be more prone to playing an RPG if they can play it with their friends. That's a good point. Yeah, I think that was some of the problems when I went over to my sister's house to try and play with my nephew. My son wasn't with us, and he's 14, and so that's usually like a instant in. I still had the sense that, like, you know, I was going there and my nephew should be like, yeah, let's play a game, and it was just like, no. Okay, I was like, so even if you are DMing for them. Okay, so it's about my friends. See, so is that my friends got sucked into D&T in 7th grade. TSL Froman says, I'm sad the Mummy didn't hold up to you. It's covered in cheese, but it's a cult classic. It's an entire D&D campaign. It's also secretly an eldritch horror story. All of the CGI is accursed magics. Okay. I can understand it's probably a taste thing. I also don't like Evil Dead, so right there, my opinion should be invalid. No one should be worried about anything I say. I don't like Evil Dead or Army of Darkness. I don't know. I'm not a big campy horror fan, I guess. Okay, let me move into the area. Okay, let me find the game one. I'm gonna go to the first game one, which is down here. There we go. Not homework. Go to the comments of it. You're dead serious. She likes Brendan too. She thinks that him being a bad actor is part of his charm. Oh, okay. I can't argue with that because I think that was who's the kid from Starship Troopers? Casper Van Dien. I think they have about the same acting ability, but for some reason Brendan Fraser had a much longer career. Like Casper Van Dien was in Starship Troopers and then like nothing. It was just like it was. I think he got to do the voice work of a few things, and I was like, he was kind of a, he was a charming looking guy. He had like a angular jaw and everything. Just never got gigs. So, Nate, you should probably turn the TV show off. I could get noticed. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I'm going to switch it over here anyways. So, Peter, will YouTube get intense about that type of thing? Like if because I thought people are allowed to like watch an actual show and comment on it or whatever. I don't actually know the rules to that much. So, but if I have that playing in the background, you think that YouTube would get mad about it? All right. I'm going to be doing this in. Let's see. I don't think I've responded to any of these comments because I expected to be doing this. So there's actually not too many. Let me click that in case. Okay. No. There's a few. Now that just changed the order. I don't know why that changed the order. Okay. All right. Tolowitz, yours was first a second ago. It is no longer. All right. So I'm going to start here. These actually, okay, not too long. Not too long. Okay, these are not like asking about morality. I had the sense that I was going to go into this and it was going to be a lot faster read than some of the other ones I do. And that is specifically because I think combat is able to be summarized. When we're talking about the heady subject of morality, it's a lot more difficult to be eloquent? No, that's obviously not what I mean. Concise with your language. Okay. Ticking time, Bob. How you doing, bud? Let's see. They can, but the fact you don't have audio, it means it's unlikely. Okay, so long as you have, so long as you switch back and forth, it's unlikely. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. TSL Frontman says, when my last group hit a lurch, a few players did, so hold on. When my last group hit a lurch, a few players did it anyways. Okay, I made sure to connect with those players. I want to give them the positive experience they need. What do you mean? I made sure to connect with those players. Like you made sure to like follow up with them afterwards? Well, okay. When my last group got hit with a lurch, when you say got hit with a lurch, unless I'm reading that wrong, I'm taking that like something stopped you from being able to play or something. Let's see. I can't fix their big life problems, but I can be a refuge. It's also my responsibility to make sure they feel as involved as possible, or at least to not drift out of the game. Okay. Yeah, let me know what you mean by a lurch. Unless you're talking with someone else about that. But yeah, let me know. Oh, and in case you are directly trying to get my attention with any of the stuff I'm about to read with the combat stuff, put a emoji in your comment. And my face, my eye sees the yellow from it quickly. All right. Mishi Knight says, let me zoom in just a little bit. One more. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Mishi Knight says, I will reference good old Hankerin from Runehammer. Encounters need 3 things: timers, threat, and treat. Okay? I have heard something similar to this before in a different comment, but I'm glad they brought it up here because I've actually forgotten about this. I generally don't make timers in all my combats. I don't make timers in most of my combats, actually. That's a good idea. Okay. Let's see. Screw humongous stat blocks with tons of miscellaneous meaningless details / impact. Okay, so don't use a giant creature. Use timers, threat, and treat. Timers indicate an encounter shift incoming. Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Let me put hot chocolate down, and I'm going to start taking some notes. I'm going to start at the beginning with this one because this is, in fact, this is what I, this happens all the time, actually. I go through one of these things and I'm like, dang it. I'm not doing that. You know, like, okay, that's actually what started me on this in the first place, right? I think I asked a couple questions or something, and someone gave an answer that I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. Like, I didn't even get close to thinking of that. Like, my brain didn't go there. Wow, that's a really good idea. Like, that's a really cool story mechanic. Like right now, this person's comment, timers, threat, and treat. That helps with two things, right? To keep my players focused on the fight and not just run, and to keep my players changing their tactics. And I don't do that. Like, I obviously do threat. I do threat very well. I make big threatening monster and like a bridge, and it's all falling into lava or something, whatever. Okay, but I forget the treat and the timers. All right, I'm gonna keep reading their comment. This is giving me a framing idea, but I am not sure what the framing idea is yet. Timers indicate an encounter shift incoming. Okay, that's helpful. Powerful enemy move, environmental hazard, etc. Powerful enemy move. Okay, so telegraphing them. Oh, that's okay. All right. There's so many different pieces to this, but I'm going to. This guy should make videos. Does this guy make videos? Okay, he's got 328 subscribers. Maybe go. No, hold on. I'm gonna open this up. Let's see. Open link in new tab. Yes, that's what I want to do. Is it about Dungeons and Dragons? It looks like it's about pocket knives. This guy should do videos about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not kidding. Like, this is a solid comment. Like, he's fixing a lot of my problems right now. All of you are gonna have great information. You know what's so funny? I went into tonight going, I'm pretty sure I already know how to do combat well. I'm not kidding. I had that thought. That's how stupid I am, right? Because when I first engage a well-crafted argument that where I'm trying to learn, one of the first things I have to do is go, oh yeah, that's better than what I'm doing. You know, like, that's because it totally is. That's totally all right. Okay, all right. I'm gonna start with just the 3 things you need. I'm gonna write down on the top of this one, combat. Are you doing ninja kicks over there?
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought I heard rustling.
I mean, a little bit.
Oh, okay. You just read with your brother?
Yeah.
You going to go play Elden Ring?
I'm gonna brush my teeth.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock right now. You have to be up at 6:30 tomorrow to be ready by 7:30. Okay, we're leaving at 7:30.
Okay.
So 6:30?
No.
No. Okay. So what time can make
7.
we like? Okay. Okay. Siri thinks I'm talking to her. I'm not talking to you, Siri. Be quiet. Okay. 10 o'clock bedtime. Is that good? Is that good? I'm getting back to this. Okay.
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 I mean, you don't have to keep.
Okay. All right.
I'll figure it out.
All right. You'll figure it out. Okay. All right. Make combat great. So I'm gonna go threat. Threat, timer, treat. And then I'm going to try and summarize the explanations he has. He already has pretty well summarized here. Timers indicate an encounter shift incoming. Powerful enemy move, environmental hazard, etc. Threat is pretty self-explanatory. Don't soft threat. There must be a challenge so it can be memorable. Okay, that's good. Finally, treat. Encounter should have a goal. Don't fight for the sake of combat. Remind what is at stake. Okay. So I'm going to write down the summary of that. What is it? Not soft threat. What do you think he means by soft threat? Not soft threat. Like, can you give me an example of what a soft threat would be? Like, obviously a dragon is a hard threat. Is a shaky bridge a soft threat? Like, just getting across a shaky bridge? Is an avalanche a soft threat? Like, you can't fight an avalanche. It's a, you know, what do you think he means by soft threat? I get like claws and teeth type of threat, but Okay, soft threat. Okay, not a soft threat. Let's see. The timer. I like his idea for timers because that lets players know that they might want to be doing something to prepare for this thing. Okay, so encounter shift. Okay. Encounter shift with I'm gonna go with all of it. Powerful enemy move. Powerful move. Environment hazard. Okay. Let's say pretty good. I got that. Okay, threat. Okay, then the treat. So I probably could, what are some ideas you can think of? Like, obviously you could do a loot hoard, like a treasure, you know, like a dragon's hoard. You could do a statue, you could do a thing, you could do, there's a door, they want what's on the other side of the door. What are some obscure ideas of a treat? And I mean like obscure, like, you know, like there's the princess in the castle and you got to beat the necromancer for the princess or whatever. But what is like an obscure one aside from something you can visibly see? Because I'm thinking this is, you want to beat the bad guy so you can get to the door behind him type of stuff. And the door behind him is the thing you want, for whatever reason. So you don't want bad guy, you want door behind him. But what are some obscure ideas for treats? If you want real help? If you want real help with combat, you should record a few rounds so people can see where your issues are at. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Huh. It's not a bad point. I think my son and his friend would be down with that. I talked with my maybe they'd be down with that. Yeah, they probably would. That's actually not a bad idea. My game group had already kind of said, you know, they're not really interested in being recorded, and I was like, that's fine. I don't want to become Critical Role, and I think the game changes when you start recording it. But yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I might be in performance mode. I would try not to be. If I'm playing as a DM, am I already in performance mode? I might be. Okay. Knowledge is easily the most overlooked treasure that you can put in the game. But the reason why it is because they're rarely actionable. Think of Van Helsing 2004. After the realization that a werewolf can kill Dracula, that is a good example of a treat. Interesting, okay. Oh yeah, Satori, I asked you a question a little while ago. Let me scroll back and see if you managed to get back on that. I don't see it. See, Bleeker, you have seen Doom Patrol. Okay. Knowledge equals a map. Lore about a PC. Okay, so treats, I'm going to put down some of the more obscure ideas. Am I in performance mode now? I'm not, but at the same time, like, I'm talking to you as though okay, I guess you could tell me, Ticking Time Bob, am I talking to you right now differently than I would be talking to you if we were doing like a Zoom call? And I guess if I'm doing that, then maybe I'm performing a bit. But yeah, okay, sometimes when I record myself, I'm just trying to talk to it like it's a person. You know, like I don't really want to put on a persona, because that'd be hard to keep up. But I think what you know when I do tabletop games, yeah, I am doing like personas, like I'm doing the barber or the blacksmith, you know, and the blacksmith's going to talk different than me, and you know, certain words he's not going to put inflection on, or you know, whatever. Like I'm channeling something. So, anyways, it's a good idea, Peter, or I'm sorry, a good idea, Scott, to try and record it and put it up. That'd be fun, actually. I could just title it like critique my combat. Oh, I'm gonna get railed. All right, that's a great. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna write that down because I'm doing it now. Especially for the comments. It'd be so fun to read people just crapping on my ability as a DM. I know it's not great, so it'd be interesting to read it, probably to get better. All right, critique my combat DM skills or something like that. Okay, good idea. I'm gonna write down video idea. Okay. I was writing down some obscure challenges, some obscure treats. I'm gonna go knowledge. I'm gonna write treasure because that's, you know, kind of obvious. Access. Let's see. Anyone else have anything else? Knowledge. Faction aid. Ooh, good one, Satori. Faction aid. Okay. Group patron as a treat. Okay, like a patron. Okay. Yeah, that gives me a well-rounded summary of that idea with some obscure points as well. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to their comment. Okay, so finally, treat encounter should have a goal. Don't fight for the sake of combat. Things that help me: set some random d6 tables for timers. Roll on this table every d4 rounds. That's interesting. Okay. I feel like just printing this dude's comment. It's pretty solid stuff. I'm excited to see what the rest of you all wrote down here as well. All right, see d6 tables. Okay. Helps keep GM. Okay. Helps keeping me as the GM on my toes. Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's see. Set some random d6 tables for enemy moves, 2 if necessary, or simple flow chart to remove decision making during combat. If your big bad evil guy has a palette of fight options, it helps a lot for fleshing out how it will do it. Okay, so basically, he's kind of describing the system that Dragonbane has already with making the bad guy work randomly, so that you're not like just choosing stuff, and it's surprising. And I think that's really good. I like the bestiary guide in Dragonbane. It's very fun to play as a DM. Just have your players roll a dice and do a thing. All right. Drag. What are we talking about here? Okay. If it drags on. Okay, so if it drags on, see, if combat runs too long, it becomes boring dice rolling games. Cut that off. One way to do it is to introduce new interesting elements in the background, something that changes. This is not homework. This is mostly improv on the spot. Sounds like a timer. Okay, I see. Finally, and probably the most important lesson taken from OSR, set up situation, not solutions. Solutions is the player's job. Okay, that's a solid comment. All right, even though it wasn't that much text, I made that take a long time. I really like a lot of that. That's all very helpful. I know I'm not doing some of those things right now, so that's helpful advice for me to just begin implementing already. And I will probably keep this card as a reminder. But I like the idea of making some encounter, some encounter timers, like, I don't know, things going on in the environment or the location that change the location, like mine carts or something, and then pay attention to them. So yeah, there's a lot of potential fun for that. I got quite a bit that is just direct and not obscure, like just do this. And that's actually helpful because this is not as esoteric as what is morality in a TTRPG. All right, excellent comment. I guess if you guys need a pocket knife, go check out this guy's channel. He seems to have a lot of stuff on pocket knives over here. What is this? So see. Oh, okay. All right, that might have been why it was difficult to read some of it. Maybe he's like, this is probably translated or something. Either way, really good information. All right, Satori says, watch Stephanie Plays Games episode on vibes-based combat. Interesting. She summarizes what what to avoid. Okay, I'm going to make that as a separate thing. Vibes-based combat. I'm going to write that down on one of my lookup things. There we go. Look up. Stephanie Plays Games. I know her. I've seen some of her videos before. Okay. And it is vibes-based combat. All right, that sounds interesting. I have not heard of that before. Yeah, I don't really have any thought on what that might be. If you guys have heard of vibes-based combat, like, let me know if you know what that is, and I don't have to go watch the video. I don't mind watching the video. Sometimes I forget. Actually, I often forget. All right, Rivers Channel says, I think it's a tough one. It becomes easier and less like homework when you have enough experience to put together an encounter quickly. Once I have an idea for combat, I can make it up and have it ready in minutes. That's a good skill. Now, sometimes you'll have to adjust on the fly in order to make it challenging and not a slog. I'll be interested in more answers. Good question though. Okay, thank you, Rivers. Appreciate it. Rivers also has a YouTube channel, so if you want to check him out, he puts out game content. And let me do the same thing. Rivers YouTube channel, and lots of game content in here. So if you're interested in D&D stuff, Rivers has been commenting on my channel since I started. All right, Toluit says, yeah, I guess it's like homework at first. I no longer find it much like homework just from having done combat hundreds at least of times. Okay, so at least hundreds of times. I have read and learned about the monsters, and I know their stats decently well. Okay, so that's also, I'm like, I need to familiarize myself with the Dragonbane monsters more and know the things they do. I probably just need to read through the whole bestiary book, which I haven't done yet. All right, so make combat great. That's a really good point, Toluit, because if I knew what all the monsters did, I probably wouldn't have to use their pages in the books anymore. Like, if I knew they had 56 hit points and, 4 armor or whatever, I could just roll on their tables and I wouldn't even have to, yeah. So that's a good point. Make combat great. I'm going to say no some stuff. I'm putting a few. Stop talking from downstairs. I can't hear you. No some stuff. And then I'm going to put a few ideas on there. Okay, so I'm going to write down monsters. Okay. And stats. Okay. And behaviors. Okay. I do have to put in time if I do have to put the time in if I make a new NPC or monster or run one I never have before, but that is part of DM life. To make things easier, I do grab the minis ahead of time. I will use and divide them into the encounters for the night. Okay, that's smart. So I'm gonna put this on a separate card because this is like knowledge. And this one is going to be setup. Let's see, setup. Prep. I'm gonna say prep minis, but what I mean by that is also representations. I get the sense people use tokens too, like little cardboard cutout tokens and stuff. Let's see, setup. Let's see, general setup. General setup ahead of time. Separate minis. Okay. Right. When combat begins and we roll initiative, I enlist the players to help in coming up with names for reference for each bad guy. Oh, and that is kind of fun. Okay, so we do that, but not focused, like not on purpose. Like sometimes I'm just like, you know, my players go, his name is Bob, right? They do that sometimes. So okay, that's I like that. Bad guys who don't matter, who are just about to die, might as well name them. In my group of goblin, quiet dogs. In my group of goblin minis, Axe Dude and Broken Arm and One Leg. Sometimes, some of my minis are old and in disrepair. Make the goblins stand out as individuals. It helps when Axe Dude. Okay, that is funny. Axe Dude crits a player a round before, and they can identify him as a real opponent rather than goblin number 3 hits you, or even worse, the goblin in front of you hits you. Okay, so I like that. That's all right. Okay, what are they doing that for, Bishop? Okay, just sit down, make them be quiet, because that's really distracting. Okay. All right, so I like the idea of naming, like having your players name the non-important NPCs. That's really good. Let me see. I'm going to put that on flavor, I guess. All right, combat great. Flavor the encounter. I'll put quotes around name. Name all significant enemies. Okay, and then I'm going to add in your idea about allowing the players, in parentheses, all players to name them. Okay, big axe guy I have as an example. Okay, I like that. That's cute, and I think I want to start doing that myself. It would also give some flavor and personality to a defeat, even when, you know, it might even give me some ideas about how to paint some of the enemies. Okay, combat great. This is for flavoring the encounter. Okay, that one's almost filled up, and then I have some knowledge stuff and cards or setup stuff. I'm gonna set those here. Okay, thank you, Tolet. I appreciate that. That's a few good ideas that I can actually work on now, like reading the stats this week. All right. Lucas Terrible says, since you own Descent 2, you could take inspiration from it. In Descent 2, about no scenario is... Oh, okay, so no scenario is just about killing monsters. The heroes always have a primary, diverse objective. Monsters' objective 2 is not just defeat the heroes. Most of the time, they have their own objective as well. I've never played Descent 2 that well. We were playing it. I was playing it when my son and Landon were pretty young, so we didn't even play by the full rules. I forgot that there were those objective things in the game. But now that I read that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. There were like cards and stuff too. All right. I wrote what is Descent 2E. I think I forgot that Descent is the name for that Fantasy Flight game. So yeah, okay, Journeys into the Dark. Okay, yeah, and I do have that one. Okay. Objectives. So I'm going to put this in the flavors section. give players an objective. This will reiterate the thing I already have with treat. So I have that idea with treat, but I'm going to reemphasize it. Give players an objective. That's also really good. I like that better than kill big monster. Let's see. Changing my ideas on how monsters should be ran. Do and don't do it. Depends on the enemies. I like MCDM stat block. So, what is MCDM? A monster manual? I'm not sure what that is. So I've been trying to use those to get to that design. That way I run. I don't need to read the book. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back. TSL Frontman says, give dilemmas, not problems. Combat feels like work when the results aren't exciting, often because the players know that. At the end of this fight, they'll all be dead, and we might lose some hit points. Interesting. Give dilemmas, not problems. I like that. That is similar to the treat and timer combined. That's almost like a story for the combat. All right, let me see. I'm going to keep this one here, and I'm going to go to this one here. How to make combat great. TSL Frontman, I think you do this almost every time. I'm getting all these different ideas, and sometimes you give me the piece I need to kind of put something together, which is helpful. Just from the opening sentence, I get the idea. Make the combat a story. That might be the same thing that Stephanie gal is saying, like with vibes. Although maybe I don't understand the whole vibes thing. MCDM is the new game from Matt Colville. Okay, all right. Thank you for letting me know. It's a company name. All right. The name of that game is called Draw Steel. I'm looking forward to what they come up with. Okay. I'm guessing that's a sword fighting game or something. All right, so I'm going to write down make combat a story. Give players dilemmas. Not problems. Okay. Dilemmas. Dilemmas are being pressed between two unideal results. Dilemmas are being pressed between two unideal results. Okay, I understand that. So, and the outcome of this combat, I'm gonna keep reading because I have that a little bit, but I'm struggling to put that into focus. All right, neither is a clear straight win to begin with. Okay, so dilemmas are being pressed between two unideal results. On either side of this thing. So here's a dilemma. This thing or this thing is gonna happen, okay? And neither is a clear straight win to begin with. Killing the enemy efficiently won't help. It might give you more time to deal with part of the dilemma. That's interesting too. Okay. These are also great for escape sequences. Okay. After the MacGuffin big bad evil guy explodes, you now all need to flee. You can take the trapdoor to the dungeon pit and fight whatever is in there, or in the dark. Okay, in the dark, or jump into the bubbling moat. Okay, so after you beat the thing, that's a good idea too. So dilemmas. Okay, 2 unideal results. All right, and opportunity for an escape if it's a story, right? So I mean, I'm not saying that you're saying it has to be a story. I get that you can like take some of these pieces and not have other these pieces, but if it is a dilemma, it's kind of a story. And if it's a dilemma that has this thing happening, there's a great opportunity for an escape sequence to happen because, you know, craziness is ensuing. You know, like, I don't know, the whole town has gone mad and you're trying to run through the town, you know, as everyone's attacking everyone, okay? All right, so 2 unideal results. Great opportunity for escape sequence. Okay. Right, great opportunity for escape sequence. Okay. Problems are work that just needs to be done. Dilemmas are moments. Problems are work that just needs to be done. Dilemmas are moments of tension that you must commit to experiencing. I know the risk was a calculation, but boy, were we bad at math. I know the risk was a calculation, but boy, were we... Okay, so the outcome of the thing... So some kind of situation that creates a disparate result where both options or all 10 options are none of them are ideal. But you come out of it with the idea that you took a risk or something and you ended up like surviving, but maybe you lost something on the way. Okay. Similarly, adding countdown timers or increasing threats helps. Any dynamic obstacles to keep gameplay from settling into cruise control. All right, these are great ideas. How to frame these? Okay, so all right, so right now, TSL Frontman's, your idea comes at the start of this thing, followed by the very first one that I read. I'm gonna have to go through these in order to build like the structure of an idea around telling a story. Around telling a story. Okay. Flavor the encounter. Name significant enemies. That goes in the back end towards see, hold on. Setup goes in here. All right, I'm still working on setup in these other ones, and I still have some room on the timer's threat treat in case I need anything. Okay, but I'm setting that over here. Sorry, I'm rambling to myself because I have to try and make sense of the cards as I make them so I don't get them out of order. And what's going on? Wait.
We have a monster situation.
What's right? Wait. A monster situation? What are you talking about?
He got really he has anxiety and has had a panic attack because of the monsters in the room.
Are you sure he's not gaming you?
I don't know. It was pretty real.
All right. So he's sleeping in our bed? I don't know. I don't like him doing that. He gets out of the pattern of sleeping in his bed, and it's not good for him.
Okay. All right.
Just hang out with him more. Right? Okay. All right. Let's see. Thank you for the star, TSL Frontman. Okay. There's no capitalizing on the best option. Interesting, with a dilemma. All right. Hang on a second. They come at great. Okay. All right. Man, that in some ways that makes me have to think about situations all differently. Like but I get it. I understand what you're saying. It's just like there's a few steps to building it together. But all right, let me see. No capitalizing on the best option with a dilemma.
I'm dead.
Riker, listen to mommy. Yes.
Is there gonna be time to watch Jericho after stream?
What?
Do you think
I'm gonna go at least 30 minutes more, but I'm only a quarter way through these. If these go fast, I'm gonna try and get through this whole video tonight. So, you really want to watch Jericho? So if I end this at 10 o'clock, we can watch one episode.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? So I gotta end at 10.
Yeah.
Okay. right, so I'm probably going to end at 10 o'clock so that we can watch an episode of Jericho. All right, I'm gonna try and get back to this. Okay, there's no capitalizing on the best option with a dilemma. Okay, no capitalizing on best option with dilemma. That's really good, TSL. I like your insight. Yeah, that goes really well, like hand in hand with the first comment I read about the threat timer treat. Like those go like just perfectly together in making combat a story. I like that a lot. All right, what does Ticking Time Bob say? John Wick used to say the perfect end of a combat scenario. Oh, okay, so when I read that, I was like, John Wick? You mean like Keanu Reeves? I know you're talking about the guy who he makes TTRPGs. I don't remember the game system he makes, but he's like a game designer, and I'm pretty sure you had a conversation with him recently. Okay, so he used to say the perfect end of a combat scenario is for the characters to look like John McClane at the end of Die Hard. Okay, that's pretty baller, right? No, that's exactly right, you know. And he comes out of that thing, you know, and he's like his leg is half broken, he's limping, shirt's all tore up. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. There's a fight over the wizard's wand. A dumb bad guy picks it up and says the command word and sets it off. Let the chaos commence as you roll randomly for untrained and unbridled magic power. That is clever. That is so clever. Oh, and the fun of that is like any player who picks it up, now they got to roll a dice for a new spell being cast because the wand is like on auto fire or something like that's very cool. Or they have to try and make some sort of save to control it. And all right, and you guys do this. You just come up with a random, just bonkers idea. All right, Wickedly, I'm gonna write that whole thing down. Wickedly, can you copy and paste that in a message to me on Discord so I don't have to write that whole thing down? I want to just have that in frame of mind as an example of an interesting story that turns into bonker timers things like that. Really, that succinctly puts it together. If you don't mind, just copy it, send it to me in Discord. All right, hang on. I have those two cards. Let me keep moving. Oh, you guys are drinking spiced dark eggnog rum. Sounds so good. I went to Costco. We went to Costco tonight while my son was at Taekwondo, and I managed to leave the store without picking up any direct sweets. We got cookies for my son, but those not for me. Like I managed to go through all the holiday candy and not come home with peppermint bark. You know what I mean? Like trays of cookies. It had some sort of like holiday chocolate cake Yule log thing. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I did want to try and find honey whiskey, but they didn't have it. So, all right, let me see. I got through TSL Frontmans. I got a lot of ideas from that combines well. Thank you for the additional piece. Was I missing anything else? No, I think I wrote all the stuff down that I meant to write down. Okay. Scott says, Toasty Jesus, at the end of the session, I try to have the players like that, and one or two had to die. Okay, like what? Let's see. Characters should have a couple hit points, no health potions or spell slots left, and a phew on their lips. Okay, that's a good point. Thanks for telling me, Toes. I appreciate you enjoying your rum. I'm gonna have to. Where did you get that? Where did you get dark spiced eggnog rum? Did you just make that, or does Bevmo sell that? All right, I'm gonna go to Kieran's Sword. All right, read more. Kieran Sword says, good, simpler combat systems are found in Easy D6 and D100 Dungeon. I like a hit location instead of an attack roll while using the armor class. I like a hit location. Oh, okay, interesting. I'm going to try and hit them in the head. I'm going to try and hit them in the leg. Okay, I got you. Instead of rolling to attack, using the armor class to be the damage deferred with exploding dice. I'm guessing that's a mechanic that is this a mechanic that's used in D100? In D100, do you have something like where the mechanics allows you to choose a hit location? I've never played D100. I have started looking at the Easy D6 system by DM Scotty. I've only gone through the first chapter or so, so I'm still reading it. But let's see. This made combat faster and easier to narrate. A crit was when a die exploded, and a D20 crit was a headshot. Okay, what does that mean? Hang on. This made combat faster and easier to narrate. A crit was when a die exploded. Oh, so rolled its, isn't that rolled its maximum? Oh, I see. So if you roll damage dice and you roll a 6, then you get to keep rolling. Okay, got it. Okay. And a D20 crit was a headshot. Okay. All right. So that's, okay. So that's making the combat crunchier. Okay. So I'm assuming that works on players too. That could be fun. I mean, that could be pretty fast and furious. Okay, so I've got from this the idea that the system matters. I'm gonna go with system matters. Okay, so now we're talking technical stuff. Let's see. Okay, this is still make great combat. Combat great. So this is not just pick the right system, but it's also pick the system you like to run. But not just pick the system you like to run, pick the system you know how to run. So I'm just going to write system, and then like a hyphen, know it, like it, know it, like it. What was the other one I just said? Know it, like it. I said another one. I can't remember what it was. Have your players like it. Oh, players actually know it, like it. Because the way this guy's explaining this thing, like he does, it sounds like he loves whatever system this is. Like if this is a homebrew thing, you know, like he's right. That is awesome. Like if this is a homebrew thing, it's pretty cool. If it's a D100 system thing, that's pretty cool. I don't think it's an easy D6 thing because I don't remember anything about having the dice explode or whatnot, right? So, but anyways, I get the idea to pick a system that you like. And I don't want to say necessarily a simple system because I know a lot of people like the Pathfinder system and a lot of people like the crunchy combat system. So I don't want to make this about complex versus incomplex systems. I've met enough people, we're talking to enough people who are like, they love a crunchy, you know, just all sorts of grit and grime, and they love that in their systems. And I know that there's people who love the simple things. So I don't think it's about simple or not, because I think the complex ones can be fast too. I know that might be like those might be like fighting words for some people. Like I'm one who says I think D&D takes too long, and I think D&D is probably one of the more crunchy systems I've played, and I've looked at maybe 6 or I'm just gonna say 6. I've looked at like 6 systems. Savage Worlds was much quicker. Dragonbane is much quicker. Like a lot of the systems that we've played since D&D have been much quicker. In fact, I don't think we played a single system that took as long, but I haven't played Pathfinder. So in my mind, it's like GURPS, Pathfinder, D&D. Am I correct on that? GURPS would be the top, Pathfinder, and then like D&D right down below. So maybe you just can't pick anything heavier than D&D or up. Would that be fair? I don't know if that's fair, but I'm gonna leave the complexity thing out. You know, I don't think you can't have it with complex systems, but it is gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna write down complex systems may slow things down. I'm gonna write complex systems will slow things down if your players don't know it and love it. Okay, but I'm gonna abbreviate that. Okay, that should give me the idea of what I'm trying to say. I'm going to stick that over with the flavor, although they don't go together. Okay, anyone have anything here? Let's see. TTF, since you might have missed my comment on environment, make environment matter like a volcano with a poisonous atmosphere, or a volcano, poisonous atmosphere, heat exhaustion, and lava waterfalls. Let's see, I thought, since you may have missed my comment. I don't think I missed your comment. Let me see. Let me look for toes to Jesus. Okay, I don't think I missed your comment, but thank you for reiterating it. It might be YouTube doing that, deleting the comments thing. It happens so often, and I've been annoyed with YouTube about other things. I actually went to go look at Rumble the other day. Not that I want to run on Rumble, because it's like, it's just all politics all the time. There's no art or video games. But I went to go look at, like, what is someone who runs a game channel? I found Questing Beast over there, right? Like, Questing Beast on Rumble. This guy's got, like, you know, thousands of views. He's got like 208 views on Rumble. It's just not a place for this type of thing. But this deleting comments thing has been really annoying. Like, I don't know what does it or why, but no, I don't see your comment here, and I am not deleting anyone's comments. Like, I'm I hope you know that. But anyways, so thank you for mentioning that, Toasty Jesus. I have that idea lightly. So the first comment I came to was essentially threat. So you want to present 3 things to the players: threat, timer, and treat. And in the timer area, they had the idea mentioned, like an encounter shift with powerful moves from an enemy or environmental hazards. But on this card over here, nope, we got to make it a new card, I guess. D6 tables for timers, keep game on their toes. I'm going to put environmental timers because I really want to have that go home. So I appreciate you writing that down. Thank you. Environ. And I'm going to give an example of like mine carts. That's not what I wrote. Mine carts. Volcanoes. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. And I'll come back to that one. All right. Krem, of course, Krem left me another doozy, but that's what I asked for. I really love reading Krem's comments. There's a lot. Okay. Anytime I'm like pointing out one person's comment as a highlight, like hopefully that doesn't come across as like I don't appreciate the other ones. I appreciate all the things you guys are writing down. And as I'm reading these things, I'm like, darn it, I'm not doing that. Darn it. So, okay, I just got Kieran Swords down. I actually like the idea of this. If this is a homebrew rule, let me see if you guys mentioned on this D100 system, if anyone knows. Okay, I'm still being taught by, I'm still being taunted about the dark spiced rum. Black Magic dark spiced rum. The eggnog is just store-bought. Okay, made it. Okay, all right, so I will, a total beverage. Okay, I will look for some Magic dark. Well, that's so much now. Okay, Magic rum plus eggnog. We have to go to Stater Brothers to get our eggnog now because like none of the stores, okay, a few of the stores don't carry it. It's like scarce or something. I don't know. Egg. I'm in California. That's probably why. Okay, eggnog. All right, I got about 15 minutes. Okay, once you get used to Versigoth says once you get used to a system, it usually becomes possible to make up monsters on the fly. Add in some things that the player can use to do interesting things with, and voila, a combat on the spot. Okay. See, though personally I try not to have to do it because I feel rushed, and personally I like having the foes thought out beforehand. Okay, that's a good point. So maybe that goes into like that whole vibes thing. Well, I'm gonna put this actually with the knowledge one. Know some stuff: monsters, stats, behaviors, and then I'm going to say enough to create on the fly. I'm gonna make a line going down. To create on the fly. Okay, I'm gonna leave that here because I'll probably have some more going to it. Okay, thank you, Vaserigoth. Frostwell says, and this is a comment on that, some planning helps, but you do risk the game becoming predictable. If you spend a lot of time poring over the monster manual and making encounters look and feel too calculated, okay, do risk becoming predictable. Okay, so if you spend too much time going, okay, I got it. All right, I never use monsters from a core book, for example. I use those from books players are less likely to have read. The Fiend folio remains a favorite. Or make up or randomly generate my own. That's a good point. The gamification of Dungeons and Dragons, to the point that players are all like looking stuff up and they all just know that trolls have weakness to fire or whatever. That's a good point. I did actually enjoy playing with, I think it was one of the Kobold Press games books. I played with like the Beast Tome or something like that. And my players were surprised, like all the time. They had no idea what each monster did. And it was like suddenly interesting because they weren't like, I know what to do. So I generally customize any monsters that I use from a common source book for that reason. Okay. All right, Wickedly. Hey, Wickedly. All right. Oh, you gave me a doozy as well. All right, let's get to it. I thought I wrote into this one. It would appear I did not. Oh, okay. So you put this in. Okay, so you thought you'd written into this one, and then you're coming to it later. Okay. All right. Rules again. None are greater. Okay, so you're making rules. Okay, rules again. None are greater than others. Here we go. Okay, I like this setup. All right, let me get some note cards. All right, hang on. I want like 2 blank ones. That's a note for my magic dark spiced rum. "5e being crunchy is one of the craziest things to hear now. I remember 5e was among the easiest games to jump into." Let me think. No, you're probably right. I don't think I read enough of the 5e Player's Handbook or Dungeon Master Guide for that matter. So had I read more of it, I probably could do like if I spent time and energy going over it, I probably could do better running it. Even if I weren't running it like exactly as it should be. I just don't think it's better. I mean, is that fair? Like, I don't see it and its systems being better, but it does seem more crunchy than Dragonbane, and it does seem definitely more crunchy than Shadow Dark and anything Rules Light. Let's see, 5e is easy to jump into as a player. I don't think it's easy as a GM. I think I would agree with that. There's a lot more reading to do as a GM, but okay, to be fair, Taking Time Bob, it still takes about an hour for a new player to make a character. An experienced player, it still probably takes like 20 or 30 minutes. I mean, like, okay, an experienced player can probably make a character in like 15 minutes. As a metagame player, I spent about 2 or 3 hours making a character. Just to try and make the best character, looking at all the different options, like a spellcaster, but I wanted to dominate the battlefield. I wanted to make it so that like no one else got to do anything in combat. I mean, like not really, but kind of. So yeah, as a tactical gamer, like it can take a long time. So it is a crunchy-ish. It's a crunchy enough system that when I went to go make a player for my friend Marshall's running it one time, seriously, I spent about 2 hours making a character, maybe longer, but that was going through every single different class and subclass, and then any of like the secondary stuff like Valda's Spire of Secrets, and I think 1 or 2 of the other Kobold books. I considered those official enough that I wasn't considering them like homebrew because they're sold products. But all right, Wickedly says not anymore. When I started running it, it was leagues above Pathfinder 1 edition when it came to mechanics, which was among the most popular systems in 2014. Okay. Let me get to your comment, Wickedly. I got notes, or I got a card to start writing rules. So let's start at the top. All right, rule number 1, be fast. This is easier said than done, but try to know what you're going to do before you do it. This goes for players and DMs. Okay, so I'm going to add a note to knowledge. I lost my knowledge card. System note. There we go. See, game complexity slows things down. Players know it. Okay, this is system. I'm going to say game, and I'm just going to say players, all players, no game. All nope, that's not how you spell game. All players, no game. For speed. Okay. That card is now full. I'm going to put that over here. All right, so be fast. Rule number 2, uncertain circumstances. This can be almost anything. Waves of monsters, environmental hazards, etc. Something that makes the battlefield less of a white canvas and more of a dynamic board. Something that makes the battlefield less of a white canvas and more of a dynamic board. Okay, I like that. That's fun. The uncertain circumstances goes along with this thing I have with environmental timers. I'm going to put a secondary note. Make the battlefield uncertain. Okay. Once more with feeling, put some emotion into your descriptions. When you use them, have your players when you use them, have your players describe things and ask them to. Try to be as inclusive and fun as you can with your descriptions. Okay, so yeah, I've been working on this one a lot, and I think you summarized it well. To use emotion in your descriptions. I like that. Let me see, where would I add that to? Combat Great, know some stuff. Okay, I got that. Setup. Okay, this is preemptive setup. All right, I'm just going to put this with playing the scene. Is this still going to be combat? Oh, this actually helps with the idea for the story. So let's see, combat great. And I'm going to put this one behind the front card because this goes into running the combat as a story. So run combat as a story. Okay. Run combat as a story to help you put emotions into your descriptions. Let's see. Helps add in description. I didn't leave myself enough room. Description. Okay. All right, that's another good framing piece because the idea I have for this whole video right now is basically to make combat be a story from the start, go through the steps of this, but as I go through, establish why, if you run it as a story, these things will be easy or easier, right? So instead of like giving this as like tips or like top 10 tips, basically go run it like a story, and here's all the reasons why you run it like a story. You know, I might be able to get this through this video like in less than 20 minutes. This might be like a 10-minute video if I get this whole thing in my head right. All right, so number 4, everything is on the initiative. This helps to lubricate the encounter itself. It is best if you can put your different events or uncertain circumstances into the initiative. That's clever. Okay. Oh, that's actually really good with the Dragonbane card system, because with the card system, it basically goes like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and everyone has a playing card. So you could put the environmental situation on the initiative. Volcano goes on 1. That's cool. All right, I like that. Let me finish reading this one. It will help you remember that you have to do them. Okay, that's very good. And basically, it is like a timer. Make it less of a hassle, and you won't feel like you're constantly forgetting the whole temple is shaking after the High Priest of Bane just got murked. Okay. Combat as a story. Helps add emotion description, but I want, on the other card, I want this one, environmental timers, not timers, but initiative, or timers and initiative. So environmental timers, all right, I'm going to go back here with this story one. I'm going to put a story marker here for it. So run the story on initiative. Initiative is one of those words I never know how to spell. All right, there's far too many I's in that word. Initiative. Okay, got it. Okay, I think I got it. All right, run the story on initiative. And then I'm going to have a couple hyphens underneath it. Okay, environment. The environment, the threat, and the dilemma. Okay, so that's actually a good idea to simplify the combat, because if I run the dilemma on the initiative and I'm just passing out cards, or I'm writing down the initiative because everyone rolled, I have a spot where essentially like the Dragon's Lair does its Dragon's Lair things, and so the dilemma might progress. And if it's, whether it's environment or the threat or the dilemma, have the story be run on initiative to help things run faster. All right, let's see. Far too many I's. Yes, I would say there's way too many I's. Midwest Malachi, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. If you got time tomorrow, I'd like to chat with you, see how your Thanksgiving was. I saw the note about, if you're still on, I saw the note about tomorrow's game. I'm looking forward to it. I have some questions for you about that as well, but I'll try and catch you tomorrow. I think I need to give Rodney a call as well. So have a good night, buddy. All right. Oh, it's 10. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up this comment and then I'm gonna be done for the night. I'll get to Krems. I'll probably try and get to Krems tomorrow afternoon. I'll probably do like let's see, tomorrow's Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll try and do another stream and get through the rest of these combat ones. Okay. Let me get back to here. Everything's on initiative. Got that. I like that you even said everything is on initiative, because that's, I'm going to go and put a thing and say everything. Okay. Okay, I wrote that wrong. All right, number 5, be unpredictable. If your players are gathering around an enemy just to bash on it, it's not interesting. Find ways for your big villain of the encounter to move around the battlefield. They teleport, they become ethereal, they teleport the PCs, no save, around the battlefield. They teleport to a different room as another wave of enemies floods the chamber. This goes hand in hand with uncertain circumstances, but the more unpredictable you are, the better. That is really good. I need a whole other card, but I remember this one goes underneath the story, and I need a new card, and this one is going to be Combat Great. Be unpredictable, but I'm going to summarize this into a different idea. Make combat unpredictable. Okay, make combat unpredictable. Let's see. This might go right behind the story card as well. Don't bash. Okay, so teleporting ideas, teleporting players. The story. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute and read the last section. Let me see if I can summarize this some more. All right. Rule 6, make your players believe it. Too much BS can really rack the player's sense of believability. Will this monster really have all this nonsense? So try to make a lot of these ideas diegetic to the room. Facing off against the vampire should be misty and dark. A wizard should have runes surrounding the area or the ability to create them in the area. Diegetic design will help this immensely. This also goes hand in hand with the story one. Make combat unpredictable, and then there are several points underneath that. Enemies unpredictable. Environment, I have that already, but it'll double emphasize it. Environment. Let's see, enemies, environment. It's more than just the environment though. Maybe even the threat itself. I'm gonna put a double hyphen there. Ooh, okay, right. The threat, the dilemmas. Hang on a second. So the threat, the dilemma, and the treat, and the timer. I know that might be far too much unpredictability, but I bet there is some way that I can use tables to create that. Perhaps the timer and the dilemma stay consistent. I'm gonna circle those. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think. Is making the dilemma unpredictable interesting? I can think of a few situations where that would be the case. For example, like a chase scene. The dilemma might be catching up to a thing or preventing a thing from escaping or getting away from a thing. And having that dilemma of escape, you know, being unpredictable would obviously be interesting. But I'm not sure if it extends to every scenario. If you guys who have done this for a long time can mentally think, oh yeah, unpredictable dilemmas are the best dilemmas, then I'm probably going to leave that there. Otherwise, I might remove that. And then the timers, I broke my pencil. The timers being unpredictable, I think actually I might take that one out because I get the sense that the timers are the thing that are exciting about it. So yeah, I'm going to take timers off. I'm going to leave it enemies, environment, and threat. And the threat comes with a caveat. And the caveat is not to do subversion. See, no subversion. I see that being potentially annoying. You know, it's like you come to fight the big bad guy and it's like, but you came to the wrong castle. You know, it's like, okay, dumb. Okay, so but the threat being like who's holding that magic wand that that Wickedly talked about, or who has the crown of zombification on or something, you know, like maybe the MacGuffin changes hands or the person being inhabited by the boss changes. So I can see the threat being unpredictable, being interesting. Environment, obviously. Enemies, obviously. Dilemma, I can see some. And then the treat, I don't think the treat and the end treat being unpredictable is interesting, but the potential for the treat, that's part of the dilemma though, isn't it? I'm going to take the treat off of there as well. Yeah, because the treat is, if you solve the dilemma, there is a treat or something. Okay, let me see what you guys... all right, Scott says, always put layer actions at the top, starting on the second round. See, 20 on Shadow Dark. Okay, D&D PDF for first. Okay, Lancer, Wild Sea, Blaze in the Dark. Okay, I gotcha. So, okay. Okay, too many eyes. Great that so far. All right, CSL Frontman says, going with that great timer table idea, you can easily write up a D4 list of environmental effects to come up with after D6 rounds. Interesting, okay. Telegraph it to the players to make each one influence their options. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm actually already thinking of some that could be conditions of the environment or the land, just that would work in general in the region that they're in. So that's fun. Okay. Let's see, didn't add the last one. Oh, I added while you were doing the stream. The skinny of it is to add chaos. People talk about the car accident, not the banal drive to work. Special treat if you're the wreck. Okay. Yes, the frontman says something catches fire, water line starts to burst, fissure starts opening, gas starts seeping, lava starts flowing, rocks falling every D6 rounds. Countless unspecific ideas to reach for. Okay. Yeah, rocks falling is a very fun one because you could basically put up like shadow tokens on the board, you know, where like rocks are falling too, so that the players could try and get out of the way and also maybe push people into the way of rocks or something. So yeah, there's some fun there. Lots of ideas when you start thinking of the strange random things that can happen. All right, Peter says, if the dilemma gets too unpredictable, the players won't know what to do. They need some clues for guidance. Yeah, I'm going to put caveat on the dilemma one. Yes, I circled that one. I'm going to put careful. All right, make combat unpredictable. I'm going to stick with the enemy's environment and threat, but without subversions. All right. I'm going to wrap up here for tonight. Let me see. TSL Frontman says, even more when specific to the area. Okay. Yeah, and I'm already getting some ideas for how to have, like, you know, storms or portals or things be telegraphed into the world in some ways, and that you could basically, like, hey, in 2 rounds, you guys know what's happening because you see the fissure opening. All right. That's it for tonight. I'm gonna keep my cards. I'm gonna try and put these in some kind of order so I don't lose track of things. That goes here. These go here. Okay, I have one ongoing for combat and I have one ongoing for morality. I'm going to hang on to these. I'll try and finish up this combat. These combat comments, and then there's one other one I already mentioned about how to not make it long. I'll probably just get a few ideas from there, because that's a little more specific. But having combat be great without doing too much homework is the general idea for the video. What is this one? Critique my combat. Oh, yeah, okay, that's a video idea. I'm gonna leave that there so I remember it. Okay, all right, let's see. On stream, thanks for hanging out. Tolowit, TSL Frontman, Peter, Wickedly, Scott, I know you've taken off already. Midwest Malachi as well. Ticking Time Bob, if you're still here. Thanks for hanging out. Toes to Jesus. Anyone else who's still on, thank you. God bless you. Yeah, I'll probably stream tomorrow afternoon. I mean, I'm not going to schedule it exactly, but I'll probably just start a stream tomorrow afternoon to go through the rest of these things. And, you know, if you guys have, if you're not doing anything during the middle of the day on a Tuesday, then yeah, you can jump in. But my goal will be basically just to try and get through the rest of these comments. If you haven't commented and you want to add something else to it, I will basically be going through whatever I haven't already looked at. Bob, thank you so much. Have a great night. See, a threat that is physically relative to the location, things with high kinetic potential like water towers, chandelier statues. Just keep coming up with good ideas, man. You just keep thinking, Butch. That's what you're good at. Eventually, you'll just get the feeling that something is missing. Perfect. As long as you start thinking about it, you'll start wanting them, and they'll influence your encounter design. All right, cool. Thank you, Wickedly. All right, all of you have a great night. God bless you. Have a good week.